One of the most common problems with student papers is repetition. Students tend to latch on to one thing they think is very important, then it shows up all over the paper. When ideas are scattered across different sections, chaotic or incomplete, it does not matter how much work you put into the research. Writing down your intentions helps you sort the information in a way that makes sense and helps you determine if you're meeting your goals. The key to a successful outline and paper is the research. If the outline is a graded assignment, be aware of when it's due. You will have to conduct almost all of your research prior to this date. You should create an outline even if it is not a graded assignment. Your paper will be significantly improved by the organizational effort. First, your research question. Until you are done, you should always keep your research question front and center so you can stay focused. Next, remember you're building this as you go along. You may fill in the end long before the beginning. If you do this right, your paper will mostly be done when your outline is done. There is a full example of an outline at the link on your screen. You can also access it through the library webpage. Screenshots from it will be used for your examples today, but looking at it as a whole will be very helpful to you. You probably can't write your thesis statement until you're nearly done. After all, how can you write a sentence that states everything in the paper until you know what is in it? Likewise, the title may reveal itself as you go. The main part of the outline is a list of each part of the paper. At each stage, you will identify what you're going to say in it. It is not enough to simply state that the first paragraph will be the background. What background is worthy of including? At this point, I want to draw attention to the sources. As part of the paper, you're going to have to create a full formatted bibliography. But for now, simply keeping track of the sources is enough. Be sure to track the page number. One of the reasons for citing your information is so that the reader can find it. Next, the beauty of word processing is cut and paste. Identify main topics, but feel free to rearrange them to serve your purpose better. Most papers have a natural order. It could be a chronology or even an order of importance. This one is chronological, so you're going to have to move your things up or down as you find new stuff. This first section, we look at a law from 1894. In the last, a new interstate runs north-south from the Gulf Coast and running through a bunch of military installations. Here, the lineup of topics makes sense too, from increasing demand to actual change and finally current status. You will find that most topics flow like this. Let's take another look at those citations. Notice a bit more detail in some. You will find that your professor may require primary sources or images. It is important to track those as well so you'll know you're meeting the requirements. Remember, images need citations as well. In particular, notice the caption for the image is included in the outline. This shows that you selected an image that matters to the subject and you placed it in context. Make sure no topics are duplicated. I mentioned earlier that students often latch on to a particular fact and want to keep telling the reader about it. Don't. Just don't. Your conclusion is a recap of everything you wrote, briefly revisiting the evidence. It is just a relisting of the topics, but don't forget about it. Last, remember, this is bigger than a 5-paragraph essay. 2 of the topics in the example had 5 paragraphs. It does not matter if it's balanced or short. Writing an outline is a really important part of making sure your paper is as good as it can be. You know that you have determined all the topics and are researching and writing about each topic as a separate entity. You know you have found all the information you need and where your gaps are. If you need any help, Ask a Librarian.